Good afternoon. My name is John Obrandt, and I'm director of the Hallie Ford Museum of Art. I'd like to welcome you here this afternoon to the dedication of Dick Elliott's Portals Through Time, a 45-panel reflector installation in windows on the second floor of our building. We have several guest speakers this afternoon, including Willamette University chaplain Charlie Wallace, Willamette University president Lee Pelton, and Dick Elliott's brother Jim, who will be speaking on behalf of his brother. As many of you know or may have read in the local newspaper, Dick has pancreatic cancer, and as much as he wanted to be here this afternoon, he simply was not able to make the trip down from Owensburg to Salem, and therefore had to decline. Our thoughts and prayers are with Dick and his wife Jane at this difficult and trying time, but I know that they're both here this afternoon in spirit. Our first speaker is Willamette University chaplain Charlie Wallace, who will offer an invocation as only Charlie Wallace can do. Charlie?
Let us be in an attitude of prayer and meditation. Creator of the lights in the dome of the sky that become for us, as Scripture says, signs of seasons and days and years, and that give light upon the earth. We offer thanks for all the ways sun and moon and stars enlighten and enliven, and for all the ways our creative sisters and brothers like Dick Elliott learn the language of light from them, make art, and delight in challenge. We give thanks as well for this Temple of the Muses, its decade of service to the university and the community, and for all who direct, curate, educate, guard, clean, underwrite, and in any way assist in its mission, or even just visit. Especially this evening, we dedicate new window treatments. Not your ordinary shades, drapes, or blinds, mind you, but bold patterns of color and glitter that evoke creations from the past and whimsically signal the sacred space that lies within. Here may we continue to offer truly sacramental gifts, the stuff of the earth, paint, porcelain, reeds, glass, wood, metal, and even plastic, transformed through the imaginative and skilled work of human hands. May it all remind us of the timely and particular throughout human history and in many cultures, and yet haunt us with its timeless and universal and the ongoing. May it inspire our living, not just with a sense of beauty, but goodness and of truth. Bless then these panels, that they may be portals through time, light-hearted, ever-changing windows into eternity. And bless this Hallie Ford Museum, that it may continue to serve the human spirit with the soulful acts of co-creation. And thus may we all, in our own measure, become reflectors of the lights of heaven, and all exult as when the morning stars sang together and all the heavenly beings shouted for joy. Amen.
Thank you, Charlie. Our next speaker is Willamette University President Lee Pelton, who, since he came to Willamette in 1998, has taken a keen interest in the visual arts in general and the Hallie Ford Museum of Art in particular. Lee?
Thanks, John. I'm good. I don't want that. Okay. Can you hear me in the back?
Yes.
Good. That's well, good afternoon, and thank all of you for joining us today to celebrate the 10th anniversary of this wonderful museum. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge a long-time and very good friend to this university. She's very modest, and she might not like what I'm about to do, but I'm in charge today, so I'm going to do it. I want to acknowledge Mary Beth Collins, who is here. Mary Beth's generosity has brought to life many great ideas and initiatives, and without friends like her who've shared our aspirations and our dreams, as the poet Thomas Gray reminds us, they are doomed to blush unseen and waste their sweetness on the desert air. And Mary Beth, as you well know, whenever I've come to you with one of my grand ideas or initiatives and I've asked for your support, you have always been there. So I want to thank you very much. And I'd ask all of us to give her a round of applause. One such aspiration whose sweetness was not wasted, but which we savor tonight, thanks to Mary Beth's generosity, is the dedication of Dick Elliott's wonderful piece, Portals Through Time, a permanent installation at the museum. As you've heard, the artist could not join us tonight, but Dick's brother, Jim, is here on his behalf. And Jim, thank you very, very much for being here. Dick Elliott is a nationally recognized mixed media artist who creates artwork from safety reflectors, which we're all wearing. So I guess we're part of the installation. His installations have graced the Henry Art Gallery at the University of Washington, the Sun Dome in Yakima, Washington, and numerous other civic and public locations around the country. And Elliott was recently awarded a Governor's Arts Award in Washington State for his contributions to the visual arts. Portals Through Time, Elliott's very dynamic and multi-paneled sculpture, infuses both color and energy and adds visual excitement to the museum's second floor exterior on State Street and this street as well. Its installation as a permanent part of the museum's outward identity undoubtedly will attract the eyes of area visitors, residents, and newcomers to the museum alike, alternately awakening them to the presence of this cultural gem nestled among historic buildings on State Street and ancient trees, or reminding them of the endless opportunities for intellectual stimulation, entertainment, and enlightenment. You know, at Willamette, we believe in many ways that the future of Salem and that of the university are linked together. And it has been our intention over the years to bring about the kinds of change at Willamette that we would like to see happen in the community and in the nation and the world. Changes that value diversity, changes to demonstrate a strong commitment and dedication to community building, to service, and to fostering excellence, achievement, and lifelong learning. The Hallie Ford Museum plays a very significant role in the essential infrastructure of superior academic resources. The museum provides curricular and co-curricular support and opportunities by way of its permanent collections, its exhilarating exhibits, important preservation, research, and scholarship opportunities for faculty and students, and of course through its partnership with schools and other nonprofit agencies that promote visual arts education and awareness in the community. It is the only museum of its kind in Salem and indeed in the Mid-Willamette Valley. And it responds to the public's hunger for visual arts, particularly the historical and contemporary art of the region. It reminds us, of course, of those enduring themes that connect us to our common humanity. Now, since I've become president, I've learned a little bit about how, not only about how universities work, but also how cities work. And in particular, I have come to understand that citizens in their livability are seeking what I would call amenities of place. And these amenities of place include quality architecture and thoughtful urban planning, green spaces and green-minded development, support for public art and cultural initiatives, community gathering spaces, an active and healthy arts community, cultural diversity, a reasonable cost of living, and a downtown residential development, or what some urban planners refer to as close-in neighborhoods, that is, neighborhoods that are less than 3 miles from the downtown core. I believe that Salem possesses the potential to be able to deliver on many of these important amenities of place, but we must allow ourselves to recognize the power of art and of culture to reinforce, to preserve, and augment the economic vitality of Salem's downtown core. And since I cut the ribbon 10 years ago at the museum's official opening, almost 250,000 visitors have come through these doors. And as its reputation for excellence grew, the Hallie Ford Museum of Art also grew by leaps and bounds. The Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde endowed the Native American Gallery, and Mary Beth endowed the director's position, for which John is very grateful, as well as funded a substantial renovation to the university's basement. We've had significant contributions to the permanent collection, and we've had a wide variety of exhibits that have knocked my socks off. Enhanced and visual art and culture will attract business and services that draw Salem residents and visitors to its downtown, and that will enhance Salem's image as not only a center for history and public law and public policy and government, but promote it for what it really is. That Salem truly can be a vibrant and exciting place to live and visit, rich and historical, as well as arts and cultural experiences and learning opportunities. I cannot conclude my remarks if I didn't say that I'm very grateful to John for his outstanding leadership in this decade, and of course to the faculty and the curators and all of the museum staff who have worked tirelessly to make this place what it is today. I'm very proud of what you've accomplished, John, and what we've all accomplished indeed. And I look forward to many more celebrations, dedications, and parties in the years to come at the Hallie Ford Art Museum. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Lee. Before I introduce Dick Strother, I'd like to share with you the evolution of portals through time. I've been keenly interested in Dick Elliott's work for the past 25 years. Although I've known Dick since the mid-1980s, I think the first time I saw his reflector work was when I drove past the Henry Art Gallery at the University of Washington in Seattle in 1989 and saw Cycles of the Sun. Now, the Henry Art Gallery is a simple Romanesque style building situated on the western edge of campus, and Dick had installed reflector panels in the niches surrounding the building. As I drove up 15th Street, I was literally blown away at what the reflectors did to the building. They added color to the facades, they accentuated the uniqueness of the building without detracting from the existing architecture, and added what I call a wow factor to an otherwise fairly conservative red brick building. I thought to myself at the time, this is a radical departure from Dick's pristine graphite drawings and folk art sculptures, but this is really, really, really interesting artwork. Well, during the 1990s, I had multiple opportunities to work with Dick and see his reflector art. As chair of the Visual Arts Committee of the Washington State Arts Commission, we awarded Dick a number of arts commissions around the state. In the spectacular Sun Dome in Yakima, Washington in 1992, to a smaller commission for Eastlake High School in Redmond, Washington in 1996. And in 1996, I organized a mid-career retrospective for Dick at the Watkin Museum of History and Art in Bellingham, where I served as deputy director. As part of the installation, we nailed literally tens of thousands of reflectors onto the walls with finish nails, eliminated gallery lighting completely, equipped visitors with flashlights, which we asked them to put on their foreheads, and thus created a wonderful reflective light experience for the viewer. But when I became director of the Hallie Ford Museum of Art in 1998, I knew we needed to raise the visibility of our building. While the architects had done a wonderful job of transforming the building from 1960s office building into a state-of-the-art museum of art on the inside, the building still looked and felt like a 1960s office building on the outside. I approached Dick as early as 1999 about creating reflector panels for the windows on the second floor, but unfortunately the time was just not right, the support was not there for such a radical transformation of our building. As time went by, I continued to believe that a reflector installation in the windows on the second floor was exactly what our building needed to raise our visibility and add color and excitement to an otherwise serious, somber, and basically colorless structure. In the fall of 2007, I got an email from Dick and Jane that Dick had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I was shocked and saddened, but thought to myself, if we're ever going to create a reflector installation for our building, we need to act quickly. I approached Dick with the idea, and he embraced it with enthusiasm, excitement, and a renewed energy. In fact, I talked with several mutual friends, Nancy Warden, among others, who said that the prospect of the commission had renewed Dick's spirits just at the right time. Well, we created several presentation boards showing what the building would look like with reflectors in the windows and the associated costs. And in March of this past year, I approached our friend and benefactor, Mary Beth Collins, about supporting the project. Mary Beth has always been a champion of contemporary art and artists, and when she saw the presentation boards and we visited Dick's website together in my office, she embraced the project wholeheartedly. In fact, it's been fun over the past 6 months to talk with her every few weeks and to realize there's actually someone who's more enthusiastic and excited about the project than I am. Dick completed the commission the middle of August. The panels were trucked down from Ellensburg at the end of August, and they were installed by FXG Construction in the middle of September. It's been a whirlwind 6 months, but the completed installation has done exactly what I knew it would do. Portals Through Time consists of 45 reflector panels in amber, blue, clear, green, and red. Each panel, based on a simple and unique geometric design, measures 69 inches tall by 21 inches wide and reflects light differently at different times of the day. In bright sunlight, for example, the reflectors can be very active and alive, and at other times, especially at dusk or about this time of day, they can be very quiet and subdued. You can walk by them and they might appear dark, but suddenly, bang! They'll catch light and you'll see a glorious burst of color, not unlike opening a jewel box and seeing sparkling bright jewels inside. Over the past 2 weeks, I've had several opportunities to witness pedestrians walking by our building, looking at the reflectors and mouthing the expression, "Oh wow," as they walk by. In addition to its light reflective qualities and the brilliant color it adds to the second floor of our building, the piece has numerous art historical references and associations that are highly appropriate for a museum of art, including references to Greek pottery, Roman mosaics, Gothic stained glass windows, woven Renaissance tapestries, plateau corn husk bags, and contemporary geometric art, among others. Even the title of the piece is a reflection of the building it graces. For what is a museum of art but a portal through time, transporting visitors to other places, other cultures, and other times. Before I introduce Jim Elliott, I'd like to thank Mary Beth Collins for her friendship and support over the past 10 years, and for her vision and foresight to see that the reflector installation could help transform and enliven our otherwise quiet and serious building. Mary Beth, you're a friend, a patron, a benefactor, a visionary, and quite frankly, the most remarkable donor I've ever met. And I thank you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've done for Willamette University and for the Hallie Ford Museum of Art. You're one in a million, and I thank you always for your love and your friendship and your support. Finally, I'd like to introduce Dick's brother, Jim, who lives in Portland and who has graciously agreed to say a few words on his brother's behalf. Jim?
Thank you, John. I am Jim Elliott. Richard C. Elliott is my brother. Dick, as I call him, is the creator of Portals Through Time, the artwork now adorning the outside of this building. He has asked me to say a few words on his behalf since he is unable to be here because of health issues. I would like to tell you some things about Dick and some of the influences on his art. Dick grew up in Oswego before it became Lake Oswego. Art education was alive and well in his schools. Our mother, Marion Hodges, saved some of his early work, and his talent was evident at an early age. Dick went off to Central Washington and majored in economics. He was doing well, but after 2 years, left college to join Vista. He spent 1 year in Pilot Station, Alaska, a small Eskimo village on the Yukon River. His second year in Vista found Dick at Nia Bay, Washington, working with the Makah Indian tribe. Dick returned to college and became an art major. I believe his 2 years with the Native Americans greatly influenced his art, but his college work does not necessarily reflect this. Dick left college with exceptional drawing skills and only a glimpse of what he would later create. Central Washington University recognized Dick as an outstanding alumnus a few years ago. One of the family legends involves Dick, his wife Jane, being told by the city of Ellensburg to build a fence between their house and the city's municipal parking lot next door. Legend has it they went to the local dump and returned with an assortment of materials to build the fence. The city had no idea what creative talent they were inspiring. Apparently, this first fence had some old reflectors that were retrieved from the dump. Gradually, reflectors became a predominant medium in Dick's art. Portals Through Time is Dick's 28th public art installation. One of his first is the band of reflectors all the way around the Sun Dome in Yakima, Washington. Native American designs are easily recognizable on the Sun Dome, which is understandable, as the Yakima Nation invited Dick to study their corn husk basket collection for his designs. Dick's designs are sometimes based on a culture relevant to the location of the artwork. One design he incorporated into the work he did for the Transit Authority of Minneapolis-St. Paul was based on a Scandinavian apron he found in their local art museum. A work he has completed for TriMet, but not yet installed, is based on quilt patterns of the Oregon Trail. When I look at the 45 designs in Portals Through Time, I expect to see designs and patterns that seem familiar, but also unusual designs that only Dick could create. Dick is very grateful to have been asked to do a signature art piece for the outside of the Hallie Ford Museum. There are some people he wishes to thank for making it possible for him to create this piece of art consisting of 45 reflector panels that are now on the outside of this museum. He wishes to thank Willamette University. It takes foresight and wisdom to recognize the importance of Hallie Ford Museum as an integral part of the educational fabric of this university. Over the past 10 years, Dick has watched the museum grow into one of the jewels of the Northwest. Dick wishes to thank the Hallie Ford and John Obrechts, the director of the museum. It seems that John and Dick have been talking about doing a major art piece for the outside of this building for the past 10 years. This winter, the discussion became serious and the concept of portals through time took shape. Without John Obrant's commitment, friendship, and professional confidence, the project would not have been created. There is one other person who is very important in the process of creating this artwork. Dick wishes especially to thank Mary Beth Collins, the patron. Dick believes outdoor public artworks are essential for the well-being of the citizens of our culture. Most people are unable to enjoy original art on a day-to-day basis in their own homes. When Mary Beth Collins chose to donate these panels on the Hallie Ford Museum, she gave the students and faculty of Willamette University, the people of Salem, and visitors from other places a chance to participate in art and all of its benefits during their daily lives. Thank you, Mrs. Collins, for your thank you for your understanding of the value of art in our lives and for your generosity. Lastly, Dick would like to thank all of you who are here to help dedicate the artwork. Family, friends, and those who support Willamette University and its museum who have come out today are the backbone that helps Hallie Ford Museum grow into the institution it is today. Dick thanks you all for coming. Dick has made a special print. He's actually made a series of 3 prints of the layout of the panels that adorn the outside of this building. John, would you please uncover the print? The top row of the panels compose the front of the north side of the piece. The second row composes the west side, and the third row, the back or south side of the building. So here you are able to view all sides of Portals Through Time at once. As a thank you to those who have played such an important role in the creating of this project, Dick would like to present one of these prints to the Hallie Ford Museum in thanks for their vision, and one to John Obrant for his continued commitment to the museum and his help with this project in particular. He would also like Mary Beth Collins to have one of these prints in honor for her generous spirit and understanding of the arts. I will now turn the program back to John.
Thank you, Jim. If Mary Beth, can you come up here for a minute? And Lee, if you can come up. Jim, if you can come up. We have a bronze plaque on order, but it's not quite here yet. So in lieu of a bronze plaque, we've got something that sort of simulates a bronze plaque. But I would like to, let me move this out a little bit. I would like to, I guess, officially unveil and dedicate Portals Through Time. The original will be in bronze. It will be mounted on the light post on the outside of the building, so the pedestrians, people coming into the museum will see it. And it says, Richard C. Elliott, Portals Through Time, 2008, reflector installation, Mary Beth Collins Art Commission Fund, 2008. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So before we wrap up, I'd like to make just a couple of quick announcements. In lieu of Dick's lecture, which had been scheduled immediately following the dedication, we'll be showing a wonderful 18-minute DVD in the Roger Hull Lecture Hall on the second floor of our building. Produced by KTPS TV in Tacoma, the DVD focuses on Dick's dedication of a reflector piece for Jefferson Elementary School in Tacoma, Washington. But most importantly, it helps provide insights into the man and his art, and I think will help contextualize Dick's latest commission, Portals Through Time. Our lecture hall only seats about 75 people, so if you don't have a chance to see it now, we'll be running it continuously throughout the evening, so you'll have at least one or two other opportunities to see it tonight. I also want to announce that we'll be starting the reception immediately following the dedication. So if you don't go upstairs to see the DVD immediately, we do have a few chairs in front reserved, but if you don't have a chance to see it immediately, help yourself to hors d'oeuvres. We have a no-host wine bar that's open. And I thank you so much for coming this afternoon, and thank you, as always, for all of your commitment and support. Thank you so much.
28 years ago, I was driving the county highways and I was noticing that these little specks of light would come up out of nowhere. They would get really intense and then disappear. I thought, wow, what a delightful object. And I discovered they were reflectors, and so I said, this is pretty neat stuff. So I started to nail it on fences and posts around my yard. And eventually it turned into this.
Mr. Elliott's work that we had seen was just perfect. And it was important to us to also have someone that was local meaning within the state of Washington, because you didn't have to. You could go to California, there were people in Idaho, surrounding Oregon, places, but we found Mr. Elliott, and we fell in love with his work. So, Mr. Elliott, welcome. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and it's a great honor to be a part of Jefferson and to be a part of your school experience. What I want to do is start out with showing you some of my past work so that you get to see the company that your piece, which I call Crossroads, is a part of. So Jane, the first slide. This is the very first state commission that I did for the state of Washington. This is the Yakima Sun Dome. It's 5 feet 4 inches high and runs 880 feet in circumference all the way around the whole top of the building. It's like a hat band for the dome. Okay, this is a pair of water tanks that I did for the city of Pateros. This is up along the Columbia River, just above the town. This is a piece I actually got to do in Times Square, New York, which is the busiest corner in the United States. 1 million people a day walk by this, and this piece was up for a year and a half. It's 17 feet high and 40 feet long. And we put it right onto a building, because the building was going to be destroyed. We just glued it right onto the building.
Where's the ball comes down?
Yeah, that's where, Times Square is where the ball comes down for New Year's, when they celebrate New Year's Eve in this country. Okay, this is the second state of Washington piece I did. This is Eastlake High School in Redmond, Washington. And there's a walkway that connects two buildings up above, a bridge. And there's windows on the other side, and so reflector pieces are on both sides of the windows. And you kind of walk through the space. And the windows are a little bit like your windows, but a little larger. And this one is called Rainbow Bridge.
Very appropriate.
Yeah, very appropriate. This is a piece I did for University High School in Spokane, Washington. And this is mounted in the library, and there's two more sides to this piece. So the reflective windows wrap around 3 sides of the library of this high school in Spokane. This is a piece that you may get to see because it's in the SeaTac airport. It's located, you don't have to go through security to see it. It's located by United and Alaska Airlines baggage claim. It's 6 feet high and 20 feet long, backlit. It's called the Eyes on the World. This is another piece that you might be able to get to see, because this is in the city of Renton, on the parking garage, and it's 76 feet tall. The elevator goes up and down in that shaft, but unfortunately, the elevator isn't glass, so you can't see this piece from the inside. This is in Denver, and this is a pedestrian tunnel. And you actually get to walk through this tunnel. And it's associated with a light rail station. So you would get off the light rail and you would walk through this tunnel on your way to get to the bus on the other side, and you take an elevator up. And this is made with a little different kind of reflector. These are roadway reflectors. These are the kind that are actually out in the middle of the road and your car drives over them. Okay, this is a brand new piece This is a piece photographed in November as it was going up in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's also associated with a light rail station. And it's in the glass tower, but the really neat thing about this one is that the elevator is glass. And so as you go up and down the elevator, you'll experience the windows as the sun coming through. Okay, this one has been installed, but they have it under wraps. And it's just killing me because this is in Seattle on Martin Luther King Way, part of the Sound Transit light rail corridor. As you can see, it's just totally part of the streetscape, and it's all facing south. There's 35 different walls that reflector panels are connected to. And here is Jefferson Elementary. You're probably asking yourself, what kind of house does an artist that makes this kind of work live in? That is our front of our house. And I want to point out, up at the top, on the right, is a 6-foot-tall hand sticking out of the house.
Do you see that?
And the footprints as you come out of the house, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. Somebody stepped in the paint, and as the paint was magic, and it just made it bigger and bigger and bigger. It got so big that it couldn't stay in the house, the hand just went right out. This is James and my garden in the backyard. The next two slides I'm going to show you is the work that I'm doing right now. This work is what I would call computer painting, because I'm painting in the computer, and then I get them out of the computer by creating prints. And I'm printing them off on 44-inch wide canvas. So this is what you can do with color and lines. So this work has been done in the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And this one is really fun because this is the primary colors. This is red, yellow, green, and blue. I want to take a few minutes and tell you my story a little bit and how important education is. I went through school, and I always liked art, and whenever I had the opportunity, I took art classes. And when I was in the 5th grade, I remember seeing a photograph of Greek sculpture, and it was really quite extraordinary to me. When I was a 5th grader, I'd never seen anything like it. And I realized that a man had it, and that I was a man, and that when I grew up, I could do something, I could make something extraordinary that would fill me. And I went to Central Washington University and got a BA, and started to work as an artist, and worked at it really hard. In 1980, I had an experience. It was life-defining, and it changed what I wanted to do. I wanted to capture kind of an energy that expressed what I felt was like the living earth that was totally interconnected. very interesting kind of energy. And up until that point, I was a realist. So I set down my realist ways and struck off into a direction I had no idea how to get to. What I was given in my vision was the energy I wanted to express, and you got to see how I really wanted to express it. But it didn't give me how to do it. It would have been really nice if it would have given me how to do it, because it would have saved me 25 years worth of work. But I struck off trying to figure out how to do this, how to make this kind of energy come out of my work. And I developed a way a friend of mine coined as intuitive groping, where I take my intuition and I give an idea, and then I would create that idea, and then I stand back and look at it and see how well I did with it, and then I would do it again. And following that process, I actually articulated this in the 80s, that I would do the craziest idea in my head at the time. The important thing about that is that I had already been really educated. I had worked for over 10 years as an artist, and I was taking all that information, and I was getting ideas that went past anything I had ever imagined before. Anything that all of my teachers had never suggested. In a sense, all of the rules that I have been taught in education didn't help me express what I needed to express. I had to figure out how to express something I didn't know what it was. And so I started to get ideas and express something that was the strangest or the craziest idea in my head. Well, to do that takes terrific risk, because you have to be willing at that point to be foolish. You have to be willing to do something that none of your peers, none of your friends have ever seen before, and they may not like it, and they may think you're really dumb. But you have to do it anyway. And if you great creativity in all fields, if you grew up to be an architect, or if you grew up to be a scientist, or if you grew up to be anything that is creative, great creativity, you have to learn to be foolish, because you have to go past what your teachers have taught you. You have to go past what you know. And in doing that, you become your own teacher. And I think that is really the goal of education, to give us a foundation that we learn from and we grow into, and then at some point we grow past, beyond anything that our teachers have ever imagined. I want to thank you very much for inviting Jane and I today. It's wonderful to be a part of your school. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the artwork that you did for us.
Thank you. These are gifts. Wonderful.